Hello and welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Roy Graham and I'm your host, and today we have the pleasure of having with us Tim Early from Early Home Inspection. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for coming in. Why don't you just start with giving us an overview of what is Early Home Inspection?
We were started recently, 2015, and we were started to be a comprehensive and multi-inspector home inspection firm.
Okay.
We not only do home inspections, but we do a new thing called picker satisfaction management, move-in preparation management, and also 203K consulting. Our team is comprised of licensed Virginia home inspectors, professional engineers licensed in the state of Virginia, 203K consultants, and Class A and Class B contractors.
Well, that's a lot. That's pretty qualified. So you've had a great deal of experience.
We spend a lot of time getting qualified.
Apparently, okay. All right, so let's talk about what is a typical home inspection.
Typically, you're looking for, you're doing a review, and it's a visual review. It's we're not opening up walls or anything like that. So it's whatever we can see of areas that are accessible. If a crawl space is not, we don't go in them. If a roof is too tall or too steep that we can't safely get on, we won't do that either.
Right.
We're looking for all the major components that are within a house, and we're looking to see whether they are functional and whether they're safe. We're looking to determine whether any of them might need replacing within a 5-year period.
So give me an example of some typical things you look at.
We start with the exterior.
Okay.
We're looking at grading to make sure that water's not backing up to the house. That's a really major problem, particularly in the Hampton
I have a neighbor's
Roads.
got that problem.
Yeah, I had the problem myself too. So home inspectors, we know what should be done. It's not necessarily done at our house that way.
Right.
But
that's the way it is with everybody.
They become long honey-do lists when
Right.
you actually find out a lot that you need to fix at your own house. So it's an expensive proposition getting into this business.
Right. Well, is it things like appliances?
Well, we do.
See that they
some
work?
don't, and we happen to do. We check all appliances. Not only do we check the appliances, but we'll take their model numbers and serial numbers and do what's called a recall check afterwards, and that the client can take with them forever. So even if something's not recalled today but gets recalled 2 years from now, they'll get notified that they got a recall. They wouldn't even know who that was because they're not generally the original owner, particularly if you're buying a house that's been there.
Right. So the inspection benefits the person who would be buying that particular property, but it's probably not a bad idea for someone who is just looking to see how good a shape the property's in or what needs repair, or I mean, you'll find things they wouldn't see.
There are inspections called maintenance inspections, which is exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. And what you can learn from a home inspector is great knowledge. I almost would recommend that every young person, before they ever buy their first home, take a home inspector class and just learn about them so that they're ahead of the game when the time comes.
So what are some of the things you don't inspect for?
Oh, there is a list of things we don't inspect. There are things like shutters, any ancillary item, yard fixtures, low voltage systems, solar systems, anything that's just not typical. Now, your contract should explicitly document what is inspected and what isn't inspected, so that the buyer is fully aware.
Now, I assume that at the end of this inspection that they get a written report?
Yes. The inspection generally takes 2 to 3 hours. Could take more.
I was going to ask about how long.
Yeah, it can actually take more. So, and those are just on the primary components and systems in the house. So you can imagine why we don't do ancillary things. We'd be there for a week if we were doing them. Like pools, that's a separate specialty inspection. Wells, septic tanks, that sort of thing. But forgot what your question was.
Well, I was asking if they get a written report.
Yes, yeah. 25 to 50 pages
Right.
long. I've had them as long as 100 pages, particularly if there's a lot of stuff
you were
wrong.
mentioning it gives a recall, see if there's a recall on any appliances and all. That
Yes.
seems pretty in-depth.
Yes.
All right, so can someone go, does someone accompany you in the inspection? Do they walk around with you, or?
In most inspections, there's one inspector. I think you meant
I meant like
the homeowner,
yeah, the
or
homeowner,
the buyer.
right,
Oh,
yeah.
I encourage.
Okay.
Some inspectors don't particularly like the homeowner walking around with them because they're busy doing their job and they get sidetracked and they're worried that they're going to forget something. It's a good, valid point, actually. But I enjoy them, walking around and asking tons of questions. I do this because I enjoy doing it. I was retired and started doing this, so, but I had been in that sort of business before with construction.
Well, I know when we talked, you said that that you had liked them to accompany you. That's fine, but there's some places that you don't advise that, or they probably wouldn't want to go. Like the roof.
That's correct.
Or the crawl.
Or the crawl. The crawl's usually pretty nasty and dirty.
The crawl is one you wouldn't get me in.
No.
I have no desire to see that.
We worry about anything that starts with an S when we go into a crawl. Spider, snakes, things like that. And and I'm surprised raccoons don't start with an S, but we found them in there before too.
Okay.
You'd be surprised the stories that you hear from home inspectors of what they find in locations.
So what happens if you find something wrong? Do you tell the homeowner, hey, this is, well, you tell them in the report.
We tell them in the report, but prior to the report, we'll sit down with the homeowner directly after the home inspection, go through all of the hundreds of pictures that we took during the home inspection, and talk about each one of them. What's important, what they need to worry about, and that sort of thing. But we put them all in the report. We put those pictures in the report too. The reports are chock full. That's why they're so long, because it's got loads of pictures in it. And what occurs is there's a thing called a PICRA list that's created from the buyer with the help of the buyer's agent. It's a repair list, basically. And it stands for, if I can remember it correctly, Property Inspection Contingency Release Addendum.
Sounds like a government program.
Yeah, it does. And at any rate, that is presented to the seller. And the seller looks at it and says, okay, I'll get all these things fixed. And then the home goes to closing. But the seller may sit there and say, no, I'm not going to fix this. And there's some reasons that he should say no, too. There's liability reasons he might say no on certain things. Because as a home inspector, we're reporting on things that are safety things, and they're usually generated by new codes. However, the home that you're buying 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I've got one.
It was up to code.
Yeah, it was up to code. I have one this weekend built in 1913. So I can imagine. I don't even think they had wiring back then.
They probably didn't have codes.
No, they probably didn't have codes back then. So I'm looking forward to finding out all of the things in that house.
Okay. And so you mentioned there's a maintenance inspection, and you know that there's a real estate type of inspection where you're for someone getting ready to sell a house. What other kinds of inspections are there?
There's pools inspection is probably a big one around here, and most inspectors around here don't do pools. You have to get a specialty person. We do pool inspections ourselves. It's called pools and spas.
How about termite inspections? You hear that a lot.
Yes, there's everybody. It's almost a requirement to get a termite inspection. There's it's a combination termite and moisture, which is big in our area.
Right.
And the termite guy does check for those sorts of things. We like him to go in the crawl before we get there, to be honest with you, so that he can get rid of those S's, the snakes and things.
Okay, I will remember the S's. Yes. So, all right. So, why hire your company? What makes you different? I can think of a few things. One is experience and knowledge on a lot of things. Class A contractor?
Well, we really wanted to add value, and so we spent a lot of time searching what sorts of things that we could do to add value. And there are different groups and affiliates that allow us to add that sort of value. There's one, for instance, is our association, InterNACHI, which is the largest home inspection association in the country. It's not the oldest, but it's large. It's 14,000 members, and it's a great place for anybody to get information. Even buyers can go there and review things about homes. There's loads of written articles on it. And they provide a buyback guarantee, and which we in turn provide to our clients. Wow. The buyback guarantee is that they will buy back your home if you don't like it. If 90 days, up till 90 days from the time we do an inspection, for any reason, for what you paid for it. Now, granted, if you like the home, you're not going to take advantage of it, point one. Point two, you do have a little loss because you had those closing costs to buy the home. So, but if a sinkhole happens when you're within the 90 days and half your home falls through, it would be probably a wise idea to sell it to InterNACHI.
That would probably be a no-brainer.
Yeah. And we also have 90-day warranties that we automatically supply, sewer, mold and roof protections that go along with it. Another report we do is with every standard home is an energy report. If a lot of homes don't require that, they don't need it, and so we advise not to, and they get a deduction off the price of the inspection for that thing. But we believe in it, so we've kind of added it into our standard. There's another report that we provide that goes along with it. It's called a bill fax report. The bill fax report is where we accumulate all the permits that were pulled on that house from way back when. Now, way back when is as long as the city or county put it into the internet, and into their computer system. So you'll be able to see who was the plumber that originally built that house 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
That
could be valuable.
That could be very valuable.
Okay. All right. Is there anything I haven't mentioned that you'd like to?
Well, we mentioned that we do the 203K consulting, and we do that. Our construction background really allows us to act as construction managers for a seller to take care of their picker list, particularly if it's a really bad one. I need a new roof. I need a crawl space encapsulated, that sort of thing. But it also allows us the opportunity to do the 203K consulting, which means we have to go in, we have to analyze the home, look at all repairs, and it's based on HUD's minimum property standards. There are 35 items that go into that list. And then we have to put cost in it, just like a contractor would. Those in turn is taken to the bank, and first we'll do a feasibility study to see if it's worthy of the loan. And secondly, we'll do a full write-up, which takes about a week. And
so they can roll all that together.
They roll it into an FHA loan. It's a great program. People don't realize, they think that it's just for distressed properties and that sort of thing, and it is used for that. But it could be on a home where you just want to replace the cabinets and carpeting and everything else. You got it for a good buy, and you roll it in. The loan can go up to $500,000 in our area. So it's a sizable, good product if you don't mind all of the federal paperwork that goes along with it.
Okay. I know the law is changing, right?
Yes.
Okay. You want to talk about that?
A lot of, it's going to be interesting. Come July 1, anybody in the state of Virginia has to be licensed to be a home inspector. Up until now, anybody could walk around and say, I'm a home inspector, and go out and start inspecting
Which is a little
homes.
scary.
Which is a little scary. The licensing is going to require that every home, to be licensed, you have to have general liability insurance. They never required that before. We not only have general liability, but we also have errors in admission. Most home inspectors don't have errors in admission.
So you're fully qualified under the new law?
Yes, already.
Okay, already. Okay.
Right.
And
Well,
also-
I am certified now, which will convert to a license come July 1.
Okay.
I think they're just going to use the same number that they used as their certification number.
Okay.
I'm sure they will.
All right. Okay. Well,
It looks like my same number I have for my contractor's license and other
you're-
licenses
you're,
I have.
You're obviously qualified. Been doing this a lot of experience in this field. Okay, so if you have a need for a home inspection for whatever reason, whether it's a pool or the home or one of these other type of inspections that he was talking about, you can give them a call. The contact information for Tim is at the end of this video and is also at the bottom of this page for early home inspection. And give them a chance to give you a quote and let you know what they can do for you. And I appreciate you coming in, and I wish you a great deal of success.
Well, I thank you for making me feel comfortable here. It's
Okay,
not
no
something
problem.
I'm natural at.
Oh, you did a great job. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.